Welcome back everyone, gravel bike day today. So we've got a Norco searching. It's got issues with the cable operated disc brakes. Transmission needs a bit of a tune and clean up. We've got a broken spoke in this back wheel. I think that's about it at the moment. So let's get it in the stand and get it in inspection. See what else we got. Transmission is in need of a deep clean really. This chain is pretty grim. To be fair, the whole bike needs a good clean. Front derailleur somewhere. That's the spoke nipple inside the rim somewhere. TRP Spire cable operated brakes on these are one of the better ones. If you're going to have cable operated brakes, it's one of the better ones. Gear cable's frayed after the pinch bolt. We'll see how the gears perform. If it's after the pinch bolt, you can get away with it. Check this chain. We'll find it under the grease. 0.7, 0.75. I'm going to try and give it a good clean first, and that may change that. Yeah, you're about 0.75. The customer said the gears are slipping. So, sort that spoke out. That's actually shifting pretty well. A little bit slow coming down. Let's get it all cleaned up and see how it works. First thing we're going to do is sort this spoke out. Just going to take this cassette off. Get this rotor off as well so we can get the broken spoke replaced. Just give it all a good clean really. This bike's absolutely filthy. Get the tyre off now. Okay, just get the rim tape off. Oh my god, look at the corrosion in here. Well, we're getting some new rim tape on this as well. Wow, incredible. Look at that, that's absolute pure corrosion. Wow, I've never seen anything that bad. There's the broken spoke. Clean this off with a nylon brush and see what it looks like. As bad as that looks, I think it's really just the anodizing on the rim. There's no actual structural sort of erosion to the rim there. It's really just the anodizing that's dissolved into oxide. The rim itself looks solid and feels great. It's a drive side spoke here that's missing. So what we'll do is we'll take off the next one here and just get a measurement from that. We've just undone the spoke nipple here. And we'll take this spoke out. Try not to scratch the rim while you're doing it. And thread that through there. Now you can measure this spoke. On spokes, just get a spoke ruler, hook it into there, hold it flat, and get a measurement off the ruler. 286 millimeters. 14 gauge plain spoke, it's not butted or anything, so I should have one of these. I do carry a lot of spokes pre-cut in stock. I've got a little machine that will cut individual ones as well, but obviously it's much quicker if you've got the right ones in stock. So 286 black, these are all 14 gauge. I do need to find a way to organise these a bit better. So typically that's one size I don't actually have on stock. So I've got to cut one of the longer ones and I'll roll a thread, and I'll cut a thread onto there. So just line that up there and cut the end off. These little miniature bolt cutters are perfect for this. Spin that end round very quickly in the grinder. Literally just to take the rough edge off there. Put it into this tool, a Hosan spoke cutter. There's a little handle that comes on it, but it's much easier if you use a drill. There's cutting fluid on here as well. Wind this out to about the depth of the thread that you want. Now if you go a little bit too far, that should be done. Okay, so there's the new one and the one that took out to measure. So you wouldn't want to cut a whole wheel's worth of spokes like this. If you're building a wheel and you don't have the right ones, just order a full set. They're pre-rolled. Take the one that we took out to measure, that just drops in. So he's got over 2 and under 1. I'll say don't scratch the rim, so that will go into there. This little tool just holds the spoke nipple in there. So you can wind it into the spoke. Just wind this in until it stops gripping. And go to a spoke key, just put a bit of tension on it for now. Similar to the one next to it. Now we'll put the other one in. That's the other one, again over 2, under 1. That lives in here. Apologies if there's not in focus, it's not the easiest thing to focus on. You get the idea. Again, just wind this one on. We'll get this into the wheel truing stand and see how we're looking. It didn't look, actually, considering it was a broken spoke, it actually looked pretty straight. Pulling over this one spot where we took those two spokes out. Good. I've just given the wheel a good clean now. Actually not looking too bad, to be fair. Nice and straight. New rim tape on there as well. That torque is about 3 Newton meters, so it needs a quick check with a hand tool after we've done. Speed things up no ends if you're doing this all day, every day. Like I say, it still needs a hand tighten. Okay. Cassette needs to go into the Ultrasonic along with a chain. There's a quick link under here somewhere. There it is. The chain's disgusting. All this oil, they've still got corrosion in there. Mental. I'm seriously tempted to put a new chain on this. This is ridiculous. Right, bottom bracket actually feels really good. No play there, no bad noises. That's great. Front wheel's obviously going to come out for a clean as well, but bearing wise, they feel great as well. Let's just take this out now. I'm just going to pull these cranks to give me a bit more room to clean with for these few seconds to get them off. So that's tighter than 12 Newton meters. I'm doing this left-handed because the camera's in the way, so you have to excuse me. There should be a little plate in here. That's a safety plate that's missing. So I'll fit one of those when it goes back in. Doesn't do much, it's just a little pin that goes into the axle. Should this ever fail and these, by any chance these both fall out at the same time, but the chances of that are pretty slim. Let's get this out. There you go. Nice. Front bracket's great, really, to be fair, it's in really good condition. I'm just going to take this front derailleur off and put it in the Ultrasonic because it's pretty grim as well. Just take note of where the cable goes. There's a pin here, so it goes over the pin and up on this one. Some of them are slightly different. Bottle cage is broken. Right. It can go in the Ultrasonic as well. I think we're going to replace this cable, so it will give us a chance to clean this rear mech as well. A lot of this cable is sort of semi-internally routed, so rather than stripping it all out and getting carried away, I'm just going to leave it as it is and clean around it. Cable on this rear caliper is snapped after the pinch bolt. It doesn't matter if it's after the pinch bolt, but obviously we're going to change it. Loads of life left on these pads as well. The cable operated disc brake pads tend to last literally almost forever, I think. Very rarely change them compared to hydraulics. So headset wise feels really good. I'm going to drop the forks out and clean it up though, just in case these are starting to seize that we've seen before, but the bearings feel really nice. No noises, no grit, no play, nothing. This bar tape's in quite good condition really, to be fair. On a gravel bike personally, I'll put some sort of semi-waterproof all-weather tape on instead of this foam one, but it's in good condition. I'm going to take these bottle cages out just so we can clean better really. Probably replace this broken one. So I'm just going to take this bottom bracket out, then I'm going to jet wash this frame because there's so much grit on here, it's just going to destroy the paint cleaning it otherwise. Damn, that's tight. I've got the bulk off, we'll give it a good clean. Gets all that rubbish off, no problem. It's nice having a bit of a bike wash station, it does help immensely when they come in particularly bad. Let's get this clean, it's looking a bit better now. Just spoke to the customer and we are putting a new chain on this. New gear cable, obviously, and a new back brake cable. Apart from that, I think we're looking good. This should actually come out quite nice. If you're looking for an air blower, I'd highly recommend this Hazet. I don't know how you pronounce it, it's a German brand. All their tools I've used so far have been awesome, even this connectors has it as well. Fantastic. I think they make quite a few bike tools now. I've seen it on Dream Builder and stuff, they're all sponsored by Hazet. Allen keys and stuff. I think they're probably a little bit restricted. They don't do so many specialist tools such as Park Tool do, but obviously the basic hand tools like Allen keys, they're going to be very good. Screwdrivers, Not sure if they do JIS screwdrivers. It'd be interesting. But yeah, air tools, they're awesome. Right, I'm going to give this a polish in a minute. It's looking a bit better there. Finish line showroom polish on this one. Just a silicone based spray. Try not to get it all over your brakes. Let's get some grease on these threads. There's more grease on the outside of that frame than there is on the inside, but hey. Just going to whip these in with this and then I'll torque it by hand. You're going to get a torque wrench for a bike, make sure you got one that will torque anti-clockwise, because a lot of them don't. It's 40 Newton meters. Tight. These have been in the Ultrasonic, but the fluid's way overdue a change, so it's not been particularly effective, to be fair. So we're going to go old school. Let's give it a good soaking. Awesome stuff. A stiff nylon brush. Let's get rid of all this rubbish in a second. So I reckon that took probably 5-6 minutes, actually less time than the Ultrasonic. So I'm going to blow these through with some compressed air. Probably the rest of this as well. Okay, it's nearly the end of the day, so I'm just going to give these some lubrication. Let that soak in overnight, ready. I'll come back to it tomorrow. Just give it a good soak. That's TF2 lubrication. That's okay, so we're back the next day. Everything's had a good soak in its oil. I'll put these derailleur back together and start putting some bits back on the bike. Still got to look at the headset. Fit a new chain. Set up gears and brakes with a new gear cable. New brake cable on the back. So a few bits and pieces still. He's looking nice. Right, let's put this derailleur together. A little bit of grease on these centre bushes, tiny bit, you don't need much. Probably don't need anything, to be fair, but it's best practice, just a drop. And you just push in to the jockey wheels. Some of them are proper sealed cartridge bearings, but these are just very basic bushes. Okay, so you have two jockey wheels, one will say G pulley, and that goes at the top. So on the bolt, just a little drop of Loctite on there. Just start the thread. Don't do it up yet, just get it started. Just drop that through there. And just tighten those up with a ratchet. They've got to be pretty tight. Okay, derailleur up. Front one's good to go. Crank's good to go. Cassette we'll just put back on the wheel. Quite surprised nobody's called me out for not using a torque wrench on these so far, but if you've been putting these on for 33 years, you've got a pretty good indication of how tight they're supposed to be, believe me. Just going to inspect these headset bearings now, just leaving it so the fork will drop onto something, so it doesn't drop out all the way out. So it does feel really good in here, but while we're in here, we'll give it an inspection. So there's an expansion plug down here with a washer and a spring setup. Just loosening these off so you can get the stem off. And all these should just pull off then. Yeah, these bearings look great. Just drop that out, pull this bearing, just grab a magnet, pulls out. Yeah, these are in great condition, really nice. Clean, greased, cupped frame, they feel really smooth, so good. Just get the bottom one out. And there's the bottom one as well. Yeah, that's just as good, to be fair. Dry it up, grease a bit, just give it a quick wipe down with some, get the grit off there, and refit this. Happy days with these. Just use a nice waterproof grease down here, like I say, just gives everything just a bit of an extra barrier. This is Mobile XHP Treble 2 grease, so I use it quite a lot on, especially on headsets, because it's really good for waterproofness. And just reassemble all this. Yeah, this is all in really good shape. Good. Carbon steerer, so we need a bit of carbon paste on here. Don't put too much on because the stem just tends to wipe most of it off as it goes on. It's back on now. And that just screws into the expander down there. I really don't see what the point of that spring is. If anybody knows, let me know. So we're just tightening this down gently like this until there's no rock in the bars. That's tight now, it's done. So you see a lot of people just winding this down so tight. What we do, oh my god, what we're doing is crushing the bearings. Just put the wheel in now, we can check the alignment on this one. So a little bit of grease on this through axle before that goes in. Yeah, wheel's in really good condition, bearings great, nice and true. And then just drop it in, through axle, back through. With these DT ones you can pull this out and put it in line if you want to. It's a little bit of a warp in the rotor, we'll see if we can true that a little bit. Back in with the cranks, again some grease on this spindle. Bearings are great in this bottom bracket, really nice. There we go. Left hand crank, there's a little washer that goes on this one. So the safety tab is missing on this one, so I do have spares. And this drops basically in here between the bolts. And on the crank, there's a little hole. So that little pin there just basically drops into the hole in the crank. It just stops the crank sliding off. I think the chances of it ever happening are microscopic, but that's that fitted. You just remove the back bolt and poke it through the hole basically. Put the crank on and then clip this down. The preload cap just goes in next, just the plastic one. Doesn't need to be particularly tight, that's really pretty much tight enough. It's just designed to take any play side to side, but there never is on Shimano. And then this clip just goes down. There you go, just drops into its hole. And we tighten these up 12 to 14 Newton meters. Do them evenly so don't just crank all the way down on one side. So 12 to 14, so I've got in the middle 13. Just do one at a side, one at a time like this until we're torqued up. The amount of torque wrench police on YouTube is just ridiculous, honestly, I hate it. Does my head in. It's worse than bar tape police. Tight. Tight. That's really smooth. Okay, so I pulled the old gear cable out. Sorry, I forgot to press record. So I'm just going to thread the new one through. You'll see daylight through there when you look. Just put it through that hole. Pull it through. This is a stainless steel die drawn cable. And you make sure it sits in its little housing bit down here. Like that. If you pull the lever very gently, you'll see the cable moving in there, and that's in the correct place. And then on the rear, this is the cover you just pull off first, and then thread it through the lever. You'll see a little black sleeve here. Just thread that all the way through until it comes out the other end. There you go. Just going to change this brake cable here for the back brake that we cut off at the other end. Pretty tight, that one is. Whew. Well, that's tight. There you go. There's a problem with cable operated disc brakes. The friction in the system just kills it. You see all this dirt and corrosion on the back end of the cable where it sits at the back brake. This is what stops your cable operated disc brakes working properly and eventually snaps. And just thread the new one through. This is always fun and games. There you go. Either go straight in or they take half an hour to get in. A little bit at the end where it's trying to get through the barrel adjuster. I'll just pull that out of the frame for now. Yeah, so it's just struggling to come through this bit here, so we'll pull that out of the caliper. Okay, so I've just pulled that out there. I've just squirted some lube in there as well. It should come through now. There you go. So, try not to kink it when you're putting it through. On a kinky cable. This bit here should come out and go onto there, but it will sit itself on there again, so it's fine. Pull that through, don't kink it. And that one goes in there. There you go, that's homed. Don't forget this rubber boot we pulled off earlier. This goes back on there. And it just sits over there, tries to keep some of the rubbish out. Okay, done. Set that up now. Just get the derailleurs back on. Make sure it sits on its B-stop there like that. Pull it down when you tighten that. It's on. Front derailleur. So on this one, you need to get the height set correctly. You're looking for 1 to 3 millimeter gap. Tighten it up loosely. Right. Don't set it parallel yet, because on this derailleur there's a screw here that you screw against there, and it braces it against the frame and then twists it parallel like that. That's exaggerated obviously, but that's basically the premise behind it. You set it, rather than setting it parallel, you set it ever so slightly in, sort of 1 or 2 degrees, then use this screw to pull it parallel. That braces the whole front derailleur then. So set it unparallel like this. Check your height again. Good. And then we need to adjust the screw in here. Quite often these are seized, but hopefully it's been through the ultrasonic and soaked all night in lubrication. It should be okay. So there's a little screw through here. It's very difficult for me to get an angle that you can see, but you can just see the end of that screw in there. And you basically screw it against this metal plate here. Make sure you've got a metal plate, otherwise you're screwing it into carbon. It's an aluminium frame, but it needs to be a solid metal plate that it screws into to brace it against. So once that's there, you literally just turn this screw like that, and then hopefully you'll see the derailleur just pull over ever so slightly. And that's moving across now. You see that moving? So just keep going until that's parallel. That's good there. So we can just set this cable through now. Again, there's a pin underneath here, so the cable went over the pin, not this way, basically effectively like this. But just check, if you're not sure, just go onto Shimano's website. There's good instructions, but they're all different unfortunately. Normally it's pretty obvious, there's a groove where it sits when it's an arrow, and this one says cable in, but make sure you get it right because it really affects how well the derailleur performs otherwise. To pull this up as you tighten it, you do want some tension on this, and obviously make sure your gear lever is dropped down to its lowest position as well as the derailleur is. Tighten this up. Pull a bit more tension on this so you can pull it up with some pliers. There is an inline adjuster on this cable, so we can put more tension on it, but try and get it about right. Just move your gear lever now. That should work pretty well. Good. So that second screw there really just braces the whole derailleur. Otherwise you're just relying on this, and potentially it could pivot in and out the older design, so they're a pretty good idea. And again, rear derailleur, make sure this barrel adjuster is screwed all the way in, and then unscrew it a couple of turns so you've got adjustment either way. Thread this through. Don't kink it as you go in. Make sure that seat's all the way in. Have we got pliers? I need a Allen key. There's an actual groove in the body, so it's obvious where the cable needs to go on this one. Again, if you're not sure, then just check, because it's the difference between working and not working. So tighten that up. Don't go crazy because we might need to adjust it and we don't want to ruin this cable. And just move your gear lever one. Yeah, that's fine. That's going to move. No problem. Okay, the wheel in next. Just get it between your pads. Pull your derailleur apart. There you go. Okay, good. Let's get a chain on. So Shimano 701 going on this one. This is purchased from Shimano UK, so we know it's genuine. Okay, so on Shimano chains, most of them are sided. You see there's no writing on this side. If you turn it over, you'll see writing on this side. This is drive side out, so the right hand side of the bike. There's a lot of fake chains out there at the moment. Huge amount. If something looks too good to be true, then I'll guarantee you it's fake. So I'm lucky I only get them from Shimano, just to be on the safe side, but get it from a reputable shop and not particularly online sort of auction sites or other places, then you should be okay. But you've got to be super careful. I know there's some videos out there doing some comparisons, and they're pretty convincing, to be fair. But if it's far too cheap compared to anybody else, then I guarantee you it's fake. There's an arrow on these links, so that's basically direction of travel. So that's going this way. And click that in there, and there, and then you can just pull it together. With the Shimano Quick Link, you will definitely need pliers. You can't do any of this rubbish where you're hitting the pedal. These are super tight. You'll see this takes some significant effort to get on. This is a workshop tool as well, so anything less, you're going to really struggle. Wow, that's tight. There's no way you're doing that without a proper set of pliers. So I've not put the pedals back on yet, so I'm just going to use a dummy pedal for the workshop. Then we're going to go through these gears. I've not cut the cables yet either. We're just going to go through these gears, get it on the big chain ring. It's up now. Then we'll go through the back gears, one shift. Nice. Too much tension on there, that's gone up 2 sprockets. There's too much, that's why we unscrew this, so we can go back in. Just screw that in a couple of turns that we had. And go again. It still goes up. And down. That's nice. Big. Shouldn't be in there, but it works. Drop down to the smaller chainring. Trim position on this front. Click one minor click. It's pretty nice. Nice. I'm not set the back brake yet, so let's do that next. These TRP Spire brakes are quite nice. They're a bit kind of unique between cable operated disc brakes because they're twin piston. On a normal one, there's only one side piston moves. On this one, they both go in and out at the same time, so it gives you better performance. So let's just run this cable through. So you just thread your cable through. Make sure your barrel adjuster is screwed all the way in. Pull some good tension on this cable and nip this up. Don't do it fully tight yet because we may need to adjust it. That's there. Check your brake lever. So there's a lot of slack still in the brake lever, so we're just going to put a tiny bit of preload in on this arm just to get rid of that. A couple of millimeters there. That should be a lot better. Yeah, that feels nice now on the lever. And then we can adjust the pads themselves to reduce the lever travel. So nip that up now, you're happy with that. So to adjust the pads, there's a 3mm screw in here. You just screw that in slowly, sort of 1/8 of a turn at a time until it starts rubbing. So spin the wheel. You can hear that rubbing now. And then back that out. That's that pad set. And you just need to do the same on the other side. Obviously you can't spin it while you're doing the other side. You just need to give it a little turn, test. Little turn, test. That's too tight now. And back that out. That's the lever action there. Feels really nice and positive. Good. Get the remainder of this cable off now. What you don't want is it hitting the disc, so just be a bit mindful of how much you leave on this one. Again, this is another good one where the EP ones are good because you might struggle to get in there. With the EP ones, you can do it direct on the end like that, and it's on. Let's just check this lever on the front. Oh, it actually feels really good. So there's a very, very small warp on this rotor, so see if we can get that any better. So it's rubbing over this way here, so you need a tool. You can use an adjustable spanner, this is a Junior. So just check that. This is the part of the disc it's rubbing on. So spin the disc forward and remember where that is. It's here, and then just give it a very quick tweak over like that. And that's it, done. Sometimes you're there for ages and ages and ages. It's just easy to buy a new rotor on because they're only not very expensive on this sort of type. And that's done. Like I say, this bottle cage is just a cheap press thing, and it is a little bit loose on the clip. It's not totally broken yet, but it's not far off. So I'm going to fit a new one. This is a welded unit, so you don't get that issue. They're only a couple of quid as well. So the new cage came with some shiny bolts, so I'm going to have to fit some shiny bolts to the other one. Otherwise it's going to look a bit rubbish. Okay, new shiny bolts for this one as well then, some grease. So this is a welded cage on this one, that's why it's not broken like the other one. Right, I think we're about there on this bike now, to be fair. Trim that back gear cable. I think we're about there. We need to align this handlebar stem still. I've not done that yet. Let's cut this off. Shimano do have a spec for this. I think it's 30 to 40mm. So. End cap. Looking good. We've got a torque range of 5 to 7 Newton meters here. It's carbon steerer. So this is set to 6 Newton meters. Last but by no means least, pedals. Won't go very far without them. Plenty of grease on these threads. Just screw that in. This one's got flats or 6mm on the back. I use flats. Nice big pedal spanner, gives you plenty of leverage to get these easily fitted, and they're nice and thin as well. Just hold your other one, tighten it down, there you go. I quite often forget to film oil in the chain, but I do always do it. Starting your quick link here. And there's literally one drop at a time. We're putting a wet lube on this bike, it's a gravel bike, so you'd expect it to see some moisture. One link at a time. Keep going until you get back to your quick link. That other chain was massively over lubricated, so I'll speak to the customer when he picks it up, and obviously you'll see this video anyway and show you how it should be done. Yeah, the old train was in spec, but it was just, oh my god, it's disgusting. And there was still corrosion underneath the quick link anyway, so all that lube obviously wasn't getting to the right places. And this was back to the quick link, done. Just wipe any excess off as well. So one last thing to check now it's out the stand is check this seat post to make sure it's seized or it's got grease on it. So just put some tape around there to mark it. You can just use a Sharpie pen if you want, but I don't like drawing on customers' bikes. Any rubbish in there. Right. Yeah, that's quite tight. Let's move in there. Wow. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez, how tight. I'm going to get some penetrating oil on that one. And this is Carbo Move. It's specifically, I mean, it's not carbon fibre, but it's very good. Very, very good de-release agent. So just give that a few minutes to soak in and get that freed up, hopefully. So it's pretty damn tight. I've clamped it loosely in the frame here, so I've got a bit more leverage. And put the clamp right at the top, so that's obviously not in the way. And it does move, but wow, it's tight. Right. Whew. That's warmed me up. I think this is the wrong size, even though it's a genuine Norco one. There's no real signs of corrosion. Damn, that's tight. Right, I'm just going to run this flex hone tool just to look like down here to remove any rubbish, but I think it's okay. So this is a set of seat post measuring tools. Basically just drop it in until it stops. So it's 27.2, that's a good fit even on that. So okay, let's see if we can get it back in. Some fresh carbon paste on here. All these are going to slip, but let's get it in. It's going in a bit better now. That's not too bad. There we go. So that's back to the old level. Get it level. We'll just put this clamp back on. So this is a carbon post. So on carbon components, do pay particular attention to torque settings. So this is set to 5 Newton meters. Done. Some seat posts they get. You've probably seen it, but on some seat posts they are pretty much, well, they're physically impossible to remove. There's some corrosion between, especially aluminium and steel frames. They corrode themselves together, so it's not just a mechanical fit. They're literally chemically bonded to each other, so it's pretty much nigh on impossible. There's a company I'll send them away to in the UK called the Seat Postman. He has some secret voodoo methods of getting them out. We won't tell anybody what they are, but apparently he gets them all out, so good luck. It's not something I'm going to waste 3 or 4 hours on, because 9 times out of 10 you end up damaging the frame with caustic soda or heat or something ridiculous like that. So if it's a particular problem like that, it goes away to a specialist. You can get seat post puller machines, but you can't buy them off the shelf, unfortunately, and it's not something I really need. For the amount that I see nowadays, it's not worth the investment. Okay, done. Okay, so finally finished. And look, I've actually managed to get my hoodie off. Amazing. It's actually quite warm here in the UK, so it's nice. So yeah, not too bad this one. A few bits issues with the seat post, unexpected, but it's resolved now, so that's good. Gears are fantastic on this now. Nice clean drive chain. Brakes are actually really good for cable operated disc brakes. I say the Spiros are pretty good. If you're going to get cable operated, then the Spiros are the brake of choice, so to speak. But they go hydraulic if you can, obviously. But road bikes, you can't do that because you've got to change the levers, and then the expense is just crazy. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that one. Something slightly different being a gravel bike. See all sorts here, so stay tuned. And limitless supply of bikes for me to film, so if you guys are enjoying it, I'll keep filming it. Thanks for watching.